can't put my name on something I'm not really in love with. I can't just play it for the cameras or play it for money. I can't do that because I love what I do. Constantly creating, constantly surprising myself, constantly digging for more information and stuff like that. And, you know, all of that is a part of it. So I got to be happy. See, we were at lunch, recess, and there was word floating around that there was a pop quiz. Well, we got there and there was a pop quiz. And about 30-something kids in the class. And I'm like, oh, my goodness gracious. And I looked out her window. And I said, God, if you get me out of this, I'll do anything. Principal came on a loudspeaker. She said, anyone interested in joining the band, report to the band room immediately. So I quickly raised my hand. And when we got to the band room, it's a big room. I mean, the classrooms were big, but this was a big room. And they had all these beautiful pictures of music notes and instruments, you know. I saw the flute, and I was like, wow, look at that. So I'm gonna play the flute. Yeah. Well, about 7 girls in front of me, they picked the flute. So by the time he got to me, I was like, I don't want to play it now. And then next to it was the clarinet, so I was like, I'll play that. And that's how it happened. I lived 6 doors away from the leader of the Dirty Dozen brass band, Roger Lewis. Roger used to tell me all the time, you're gonna be the first female horn player with the Dirty Dozen. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. Man, I was really good in elementary school, and I went to junior high school, and the kids were bigger. Now I was all bright-eyed and everything, and I went into the band room with my clarinet, and everybody else was just so much better. I mean, to me, so I kind of like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. I had this band teacher named Donald Richardson, and, you know, he's a legend in New Orleans. He honed in on me for some strange reason, you know, and he knew I didn't practice or anything, so, you know, I became basically the class clown, you know. When we'd work on, you know, some exercises or something like that, you know, and they couldn't get it, you know, he'd say, well, wait a minute, let's let Doreen do it. And I'd try to do it, and I'd fail, and everybody would laugh, and it would move on. It didn't bother me at all anymore. But I was hurt. I was really hurt. And I was hurt so much that I didn't put the clarinet in the locker that evening. I actually took it home. I took the book home for like the first time ever. I got to the back of the book, and I was like, oh, well, it's on now, you know? And I went to school the next day. Most of the class went by, nothing. And then towards the end of the class, let's let Doreen play it for us. And I played it, and he was like, Doreen, I can still see him, I kid you not. At that moment, I went from the bottom of the barrel to the top. I was like the teacher's pet. And he'd still say, let's let Doreen play it for us, but it meant something totally different at that point. But the jazz thing didn't come until in college, you know. And I used to practice in his closet, the janitor's closet, because the cubicles were reserved for the pianists because they had pianos in it. So if you were there and a piano player came, you had to leave. So I found this closet, and the janitor, you know, he was nice enough to take all this stuff out of it. Fast forward, my second semester in college, this gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous tuba player had this beeline to the tuba section. And then when he'd look at me, I just looked the other way, you know. So he thought I was stuck up. He came in the practice room and he said, you know, you play that clarinet really good. You ought to try playing some jazz. And I'm like, okay. That was it. And that's how I started playing jazz, period.
I think Lawrence deserves a round of applause.
Well, it's like a pair of good shoes, you know what I mean? You know you can make the journey. You don't have to worry about your shoes. You got to do other things. You got to prepare other things, but you don't have to worry about your shoes. That's basically what the instrument is. I wasn't in the market for a new clarinet. I have a bunch of clarinets. Well, a newfound friend, he said, I have a friend who, has these clarinets that are just wonderful. And, I wonder if you could talk to him and see if you could try it. And I'm like, I ain't in the market for no clarinet, though. And he's like, yeah, but you could just try it. It's really a good clarinet, I'm like, okay. And I opened the case and I was like, well, what clarinet isn't pretty? I mean, it's just so beautiful, I'm like, well, but it had the weight. I'm just so used to the weight. And I'm used to the wood. I just am. When the first thing I noticed was the action. It's different. I mean, I could just soar. It was just great, and it bounced right back. This was different, It was, say, elite or streamlined or something like that. It's crisp, and it had a nice sound. Intonation was good throughout. Pretty cool, And I was like, nice horn. But I couldn't put it down, Now it's been over 3 years, maybe. It's been great. What I hadn't realized, I was like, you know what? This thing hasn't cracked or anything. You know what I mean? And it still hasn't. It's just, it's me. It feels like something, like family. It just does. It's more personable than anything. And it just so happens, that I love the instrument too, because I can't put my name on something I'm not really in love with. I can't just play it for the cameras or play it for money. I can't do that because I love what I do. I mean, constantly creating, constantly surprising myself, constantly digging for more information and stuff like that. And, all of that is a part of it. So I got to be happy. I'd say don't be your worst enemy. Have confidence in yourself, but, don't make it false confidence. You got to work. You got to work for whatever you want, and you have to practice. And when you practice, you have to practice correctly. I wasn't the most studious or anything else like that, but I had opportunities to play. I had opportunities to perform. And, I think it's the redundance, just over and over and over again. And, always searching to get better, to be better. And don't be a jerk. Be nice. And if you can help somebody else, help them too. And if you need help, ask. Most of what you're doing and you're learning, has been done before. And try to come above that and do your thing. Find you in that and excel at it, That's all I can say. I'm just blessed and lucky. I kid you not, But I'm very happy. It's very easy being me.